Beautiful evening, night, whatever it's considered, wherever you are. It's presently 11:37 p.m. Eastern Standard Time where I am. And I don't think I've ever jumped on live this late, like ever, especially not on YouTube. But and definitely not on this account. But yeah, y'all, I was gonna do a live earlier and it was just gonna be random, like just to check in, share some updates, as far as like what's going on business wise and just have some chit chat with some good folks that just whoever so happened to tap in. And I got sidetracked for a moment. I was like, let me matter of fact, I was gonna go pay a bill and I went to go check transfer some funds and all that. And when I did that to check to make sure the funds transferred, I went to my mobile banking and my credit report updated or whatever. So I was like, let me go check this out. Child, I just went down a whole rabbit hole of research for like the last hour and some change with an address that I've seen. I noticed it a while ago, but I never, for whatever reason, went to go investigate it. I finally went to go investigate it. And it's a whole coffee shop in St. Louis. No, no, what was it? St. Charles, Illinois, or whatever. And I'm like, is this like some identity theft? Like, what is this? Like, I need to know. It's a whole business showing up on my credit report, or at least the address for this business. So I don't want to get too deep because I'm still investigating and I'm going to get some, professional advice from somebody that, will handle stuff like this. But yeah, child, I done went and found, first of all, they got bought out by some new owners, but the previous owners, one of the people, it was like a couple, I'm assuming. The woman, she was like a Reiki healer, like spiritual business, like do all the same stuff that I do. I don't know who she is, never seen her before. It was a Caucasian woman. Ain't nothing Caucasian about this one here, but yeah. So I went and was like looking on all the social medias and looking back, her name done changed a couple times. So I don't know if she done got divorced, remarried. I don't know what's up, but I wrote down all the names. But yeah, they got some new owners and it's supposed to be doing good and thriving. But this is showing up on my credit report as if it's mine. So I'm like, honey, you got the right one. You got the right one. I needs my bread. Okay. I found her on Vagaro, where she's presently working as a Reiki practitioner at some it looks like a nice high-end spa. Okay. No longer at the coffee shop that she was the previous owner of. But yeah, with that being said, I'm inspired to dig into these cards and do a quick reading. It's kind of past my bedtime, especially for this type of stuff. But I don't know. I'm curious to see what the cards got for me. I'd never be reading an interview this late either. Like I have in the past, like a couple times, and the messages were like, "Whoa!" So I was like, "Let me stay away from that." But honey, I am curious. You seen the title? I am curious. Thank you, Divine Source, for clear and direct messages, insight, and guidance. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I trust, hope, and pray that wherever you are in the world, that you are well, mind, body, and spirit. I usually start off with that, but I had to, start out with this little story of where I've been the last couple hours. Okay, wow, and this looked like it was around the business. Looked like I think it showed up around this time, so I'm ashamed to say how long I noticed it and did not investigate it until now. That's so crazy. But yeah, and I check my credit report like all the time, like several times a month, because it's plugged into my mobile banking. But child, it was around that 2020 PPP stuff is when it looked like they might have started the business. I don't know. They said it was a bunch of scamming going on around that time. So we're gonna get to the bottom of this, honey. It's a nice little coffee shop. Got all the kind of food and brunch and all kind of things that I would actually eat and like. But I ain't never been to no. I've never been. Have I ever been to Illinois? I don't think I've ever been to Illinois. I've always wanted to go to Chicago though. I wanted to go to Mosque Mariam for sure. We found out I got a reason to go. For real now. Pull up. Get some more information. Be a secret shopper. Okay. All right. Look at here. Look at here. My very first reading that I did on this channel with this deck, this card came out. Okay. So with this green and gold, I'm picking up a very healing energy. Green is the heart chakra. Okay. Um, I'm getting some sort of server from her bowl that she's, you know, cusping in her arms. She's holding. Yeah, I'm definitely getting a server of some sort. Let's get some more cards and clarify it. All right. I'm hearing with this blue throat chakra energy, communication. There's something coming out of this, what appears to be like a masculine energy's hand. It looks like it could be like maybe some sort of snake or a snake's head or something of the sort. Hmm. Yeah, I'm gonna have to clarify these for sure because the messages ain't coming through as clear as they would when I would read it like earlier in the day with a fresh brain. I did take a nap this afternoon, honey. I left work early and everything. Came home, took a nap, doing all kind of stuff out of my normal routine today. I don't know what that's about, but I'm here for it. Okay. Mhm. I'm just show the cards for right now and then meditate on it to get some messages. Definitely got some different cards and different energy than I've gotten in the past. We know this is the Soul Cards 2 deck, which is 100% intuitive. There are no messages that go with, you know, these decks, no definitions. So, yeah. And then we got the skeleton on the bottom here. That makes me think of this video I shared earlier. I found it on a friend's page, but it was a guy. It looked like he might have been like at a restaurant, fast food type of place, and a group of young guys, was like kind of like, I'm using bullying, but he looked more older and more mature than the guys that were, I guess, trying to bully him and jump him. But he was standing there and they were like really sucker punching him all like in his face and head and stuff. It was like a group of men. He basically was yelling after he went off, like he just was eating them punches. They looked like they barely even hurt him, but they just kept popping off after he just didn't like really respond or react. And then he dropped his bag and grabbed like a axe looking thing out of it and just started tearing stuff up from the tables to like some glass in there and was just like, yo, back up, stop playing with me before I this be upside your head type of energy. He was like, y'all trying to show off in front of these females, and like he went off. And whoever shared the video, it was like a skeleton. It was like um he lost it. And I thought that was an interesting comment, perspective, because I'm just like, he was actually calm, just sitting there chilling, minding his business. With videos, you only see clips of it, so you don't know the whole story or backstory unless you know it. But it was just like, I've been in situations like that where it's just like, okay, you keep poking the bear, keep messing with me. And then when you get an unexpected response that could have probably been exaggerated, or whatever, but you can't really say how a person's supposed to respond in a situation like that when they're trying to avoid confrontation or escalating, you know, some drama. So that made me think of that. But let's get into this reading now. I'm gonna clarify it as we go. Okay. This is the Osho Zen Tarot. Yeah, I definitely need to clarify this energy because nothing's coming through, which is very interesting. Okay, we have the Fool, we have Patience, we have Change, and we have Receptivity. All right, so I did kind of get this with the first card, that there was some sort of message of like martyrdom type of energy. I was also listening to, matter of fact, I want to pull it up real quick if I could share the screen. Let me see, Empress Tools. All right, so if you were to visit the Empress Network at empressblack.com, this is what it like here. Oh, one page. I did not mean to do that. Did I close it? I sure enough did. All right, I'm going to show you how to get to it. All right, so I'm just clicking on ordering and stuff. All right, so this is the loyalty rewards. Book and shop, earn loyalty rewards. But we're going to come over here to the home page. or home tab and drop down to Empress Tools. I had it already pulled up earlier because I wanted to share it. This is our Oracle Empress energy forecast. Okay, so you can subscribe to the Empress Network at empressblack.com to access those. But we have our book club, audio book club collection here. Okay. I put I found all these audio books and created this collection because why not? I'm about this life. And people be, trying to question things about me and all this stuff that they have no business. But with that, go read a book. I was listening to this earlier.
Chapter 15. Then came to Jesus scribes and Pharisees, which were of Jerusalem, saying, Why do thy disciples transgress the tradition of the elders? For they wash not their hands when they eat bread. But he answered and said unto them, Why do ye also transgress the commandment of God by your tradition? For God commanded, saying, Honor thy father and mother, and he that curseth father or mother, let him die the death. But ye say, Whosoever shall say to his father or his mother, It is a gift, by whatsoever thou mightest be profited by me, and honor not his father or his mother, he shall be free. Thus have ye made the commandment of God of none effect by your tradition. Ye hypocrites, well did Esaias prophesy of you, saying, These people draweth nigh unto me with their mouth, and honoreth me with their lips, but their heart is far from me. But in vain they do worship me, teaching for doctrines the commandments of men. And he called the multitude, and said unto them, Hear and understand. Not that which goeth into the mouth defileth a man, but that which cometh out of the mouth, this defileth a man.
Okay, so basically I have a collection here of all kind of, personal development, spiritual development, success, focus, mindset, um, critical thinking, like different important skills that are needed for business professionals and, leaders and so forth. So, the good holy books, of course, I'm going to have there, but this is the Bible listening party, is what this is called. 24/7 King James Version of the Bible. It's live, as it says, 24/7. So when I tapped in earlier, it was I forgot what chapter and everything it was on because I just when I got up from my nap, I was inspired to pull it up for whatever reason. And the part that I was listening to was so relevant to literally what I have been dealing with in my professional life recently with work and my business and the transitional phase that I'm in presently. It was all relevant coming straight from the Bible. So I found that fascinating and I just wanted to listen for a second to see where it was at, what it was, the subject, what it was talking about at this time, to see if that gave me any kind of insight or relevance to this. But let's get back to this reading. Okay. That's there for you if you need it. All right. So yeah, martyr. Okay. Um, I'm picking that someone may be deciding that they're ready for a change, that they have been patient with a situation, a relationship, maybe an opportunity. This could be in work, like professionally, or in their personal life within like a relationship, potentially with a significant other. Okay. Someone may have felt like they've played the fool in a situation or a relationship or something like that, and they're now in a place of, you know, feeling like the patience have ran out and it's time for a change, that they're ready for some sort of next level healing. I'm getting there could have been some sort of messages or insight that could have been received from maybe like some ancestors or something like that. Some ancestral messages have come through that have awakened someone, I'm hearing, and inspired some sort of desire for change or movement. Okay. Someone may have recognized where they have been dealing with someone that may have tried to limit them or block them, keep them, stuck, trapped, potentially in some sort of illusion or a lie. And they're saying enough is enough. Okay. This could have been something that has gone on where somebody feels like long enough, like they've had enough, that they've seen, some moon cycles, you know. This could be 9 months, some to a year, maybe some years. I'm hearing even potentially 10 years in some situations, 7 to 10 years, maybe. Yeah, so this could be personally or professionally. I'm getting someone may have a desire to, I'm getting like maybe move or change environments, relocate potentially. With this, for some reason, I'm getting like with this animal looking figure, somebody has a desire to maybe work in agriculture, whether it's like on a professional level or just kind of like just for personal, like their family, maybe they want to have a farm or live on a farm or something like that. Um, raise animals, I'm hearing potentially. I'm even hearing like maybe grow their own food, and they've gotten some sort of insider messages from, some ancestors that have inspired those types of thoughts as well. I'm also getting another energy here that has a desire to spend some time on a retreat or do some sort of retreat, maybe go to like a beach, or I'm hearing even maybe a cruise or some sort of vacation. Someone feels like something like that is needed at this time. It would be beneficial and healing. Mm, yeah. Someone may have like, I'm hearing like an abundance of ideas, thoughts, maybe visions. These could be different energies that I'm reading also, or it could be the same. But um there needed some time to retreat and process all of this information. Okay. Somebody may be ready. I'm hearing they're like listening, so they're getting some sort of divine messages. So this could be some creative ideas or sparks. Earlier, I was definitely thinking of poems, like poetry, and it was a little at that point when it first came to me was more on the aggressive side, and I'm glad that I waited it out and didn't like share it with anybody. I just kind of kept it in my mind, but because it did have some vulgar language, because that's kind of where I was at that point, and that's why I came home and took a nap. I was like, look, I had clients trying to do walk-in appointments today, and I was like, I only had one appointment, and I was tapped out. Like, and it wasn't even my client. Like, my client was chilling, but just my environment, just I didn't feel like it today, and I didn't feel like pretending either. So, like, I don't want people to sit here saying I'm bringing bad energy. So let me just go home and reset. And I took a nap, and I'm glad I did. But and I'm glad I woke up and listened to that good word. But with that, I'm getting that energy here as well. Someone may be processing or wanting the space, the environment, the opportunity, the time to kind of just process a few things to maybe put together something. I'm hearing like some sort of outline or maybe start a book, write a book or something like that, a song, like something that's coming through. And the space and time and focus is needed to be able to make sense of it all. All right, so we have isolation and existence. Okay. And this is with the receptivity healing Queen of Cups energy. So someone is definitely either presently doing some healing work or having a desire to. Um, they are ready to either regain or gain some sort of personal power and strength. They want to tap into their personal magic, or they're trying to see what that's all about. We have comparison here. So someone may have come into contact with someone who inspired them or who showed them something they may have never seen before that they now have an interest in learning more about. I'm hearing someone wants to learn how to manifest. Someone may have come into contact with a master manifester, a very highly creative individual, a visionary, and they have been with comparison here and this the sadness I'm seeing in this image here. Someone has been desiring, they've been basically questioning their life. Okay. They have been asking the question of why am I here? More purpose focused, like they're desiring to potentially find their purpose or get in alignment with that. They may have been, yeah, I'm getting also here, someone may have been playing it small, settling in life, maybe in relationships, in their career, profession, um, the environment that they're in or have been in, has been holding them back or limiting them. And they're recognizing, they're seeing that and having the desire to just, you know, bust a move, break away, because they recognize that, you know, they're not happy. There's some sadness here. And there could be some guilt where they feel like they haven't been answering the call. They have been disconnected from their source, the Most High God, the Creator. And they're now seeing that and have a desire to spend more time, you know, um, getting in alignment with and connecting with source energy, the light, the truth. Definitely getting awakening energy here. Some ancestral guidance and messages. All right, we have sharing here. Okay. In alignment with the lady with the bowl. So this is definitely someone who is like some sort of server, a healer, someone who nurtures and cares for others. I'm getting this could be someone like a midwife or doula. This could also be like some sort of nurse or someone who works in that type of healing space, like a CPA or um, even someone who potentially, I'm getting like what are those? What's that profession called? They're like overworked and underpaid. Not a counselor, it's a social worker. I'm getting a social worker energy here also. Basically, like people who help people do some sort of healing, recovering, restoration type of work, supporting that process. And something with this awakening energy has inspired them to want more, to live more, to experience more, to be, do, and have more. So this could have been something like someone went on some sort of, in my space, in like the business space. I was just talking to my mom earlier about like how I used to go to like business conferences and stuff like that, with the company that I used to, work with, and how impactful they would be as far as, you know, the high you'll have energetically and the focus and the drive that usually comes from the stories, the testimonies, the being around so many like-minded, professionals, with common goals and so forth that you can learn from. Um, so the first time, or not the first time, but I've gone on, different, you know, weekend type conferences like those. And there's one this weekend that I was gonna be missing, which was a big one. And I was like that sucks. But, life is life and right now, so I have to prioritize, where my funds is going and stuff like that. So I had to count this one out and I gotta focus on work this weekend. But I'm getting that energy here. So it could be someone who may have been invited um to something like that, or it could have been some sort of retreat or um something where people congregate and the focus and purpose is for some sort of, enlightenment or mindset shift or, you know, success focus, like personal development, spiritual development. I've done a lot of stuff like that actually. When I think about it, like when I lived in Georgia, that stuff was pretty common. I remember I did like a weekend um millionaire mind intensive or something like that. And I connected with some really great people that I'm still connected with, like via Facebook from that one weekend. You know, we don't talk on a regular basis or anything, but sometimes occasionally, I'll see somebody on a post, I'll like it, or they'll like my post or something like that. But you connect with people and, can build relationships like that. I'm seeing that here where somebody is getting their cup filled. Like they're usually the giver, they're usually someone who's, you know, offering and taking care of and serving and helping others, but not necessarily receiving to the degree in which they probably should be. And they may, this energy could potentially be manifesting that, and this queen energy here that's in position to share, to give, to fill her cup, maybe doing that is what I'm getting here. Yeah, we have the rebirth here. Okay. So definitely someone is definitely seeing life with, I'm hearing like new lenses, like a fresh set of eyes. I was thinking about, I made some really great veggie spaghetti earlier before I went to work this morning. I've been tearing that thing up all afternoon, honey. And I used carrots, like shredded carrots, like you would most people would use shredded cheese or something like that. I use shredded carrots like it's all veggies with a little bit of ground turkey. Um, but yeah, I was like, yeah, my vision will be popping, okay, with all these carrots. All right, we have number 7 with politics, another 7. So we have 77 here. 107, that might be like a radio station or something I'm getting. Um, so if we're looking at this with a couple, like personal relationship, the feminine energy that I was picking up that has like a really giving spirit, it's possible that this masculine energy that they have a desire to um potentially separate from or something like that. If we're looking at a relationship, they could be someone that is in the realm of politics. They deal in the realm of politics. They could be like a politician. Um, or they could be like some sort of narcissist. Yo, it's so crazy how these cards always align like this. I promise you. So look at how I said earlier, this looks like some sort of snake or something coming out of this masculine looking energy's hand. And look at here, we have the snake here. So we got the head of the snake here and the body here with politics. I can't never make this stuff up. Ever. Can't make it up if I tried. And then with this one here, and they always come out in alignment too. Look at the sadness here, the consistency with the sadness in the face, the isolation here with the tears. I think this might be like the Three of Swords in a traditional tarot. And then look at the same sadness in the face in the Soul's deck. It's crazy. And these are literally clarifying the cards, okay? So someone I'm getting is like outgrowing a relationship or connection of some sort. Um, Someone's values and ideas may have evolved because they've somehow grown and evolved or are growing and evolving. Their interests and desires have changed and they're seeing, you know, the truth of who or what they've been attached to and alignment with, and how they're ready to live more and live better than they're able to in this connection, is what I'm getting. So this could be like with the Queen of Cups here and the Ancestor card in the center. This is some sort of maternal, um, maybe like a grandmother, great grandmother, or some sort of mother figure that is on the other side, is like a heavenly loved one that is supporting this process. I'm getting that they could potentially be providing you with some sort of guidance, insight, wisdom, inspiration, confidence, and just the healing that you need to be able to make the transition, the move that's needed, while also humbling, because this with this isolation and this tears, this person may have been very arrogant and cocky and felt as though like you would never leave or you would never have the confidence to feel like you deserve better. I'm getting they feel threatened and they're getting an ego check for sure. So whether you've already left or not, they're feeling it. We have the burden here. Yeah. And it's pointing at the politics, the the masked snake. I'm getting that this person may have done some sort of abuse. Like there could have been some sort of abuse here if it wasn't physical. It could have been like mental and emotional abuse so that you would fear leaving or basically feel trapped in the situation, like you couldn't do better. Like they wanted to intentionally keep you feeling lower than them. Okay, like you just couldn't do better. We have innocence here. So with this being with the Queen of Cups, this could have been, I'm gonna see this from two different ways. When we're looking at ancestors, this could be like um a father figure, like a grandfather, great grandfather. Like we had the maternal side I was mentioning, like a grandmother or something like that, that may have communicated with you from the other side, whether that being like a dream or a meditation or just through someone, depending on how you get your insight and your messages. But your grandparents love you, they support you, um, they see you, and they want you to do what's best for yourself. Recognize it and make the decisions that you need to make because you already know what those decisions are and not fear, the outcomes because you're covered and protected. That's what I'm getting here. And it's abusive, masculine energy knows that. Your support system is showing up as you release, as you let go and let God. And we got participation here. Yeah, your support system. This is your support system here. You're manifesting the right people, the right opportunities. We're not saying that it's going to be the easiest thing to do, but it's necessary if you want to experience a better quality of life, is what I'm getting here. It's going to require a little bit of trust, belief, and faith in your higher power as well as in yourself. Didn't I just say that? Trust. What does that say? I can't make this stuff up. I can't. With being present, Yep. With experiencing. You have to trust that this is your journey. It's not necessarily wise to try to compare it or you to anyone else. It's okay to be inspired by others and recognize, yourself and others and the similarities and commonalities in your experiences, but understanding that your life is yours and whoever else's life is their life. And you need to stay present and grateful for your life because you still got some living to do. Life after death is what I'm hearing. That's what the rebirth is. You go through like a mental, emotional, spiritual, shedding and releasing what could feel like a dying process, in many cases. We're doing that work. You feel lighter, you feel freer, healthier, clearer. Okay. You got schizophrenia here. So two minds, you know, you've been managing some sort of mental manipulation. That's what I said, the mental abuse that had you questioning, you know, going back and forth in your mind as to whether you have what it takes to be able to live a better life, whether you were strong enough to do it on your own, especially if it's been a situation that, like I said earlier, should have ended a long time ago. It's very common. Is that it? Okay. Yeah. Get another deck. Um, which one we gonna do here? Modern Witch Tarot. That's so funny. That's just what flipped out with schizophrenia here. So, and I was literally thinking in my mind, I didn't say it out loud, but the need to meditate to get, you know, that mental stability, security, and stabilization going. In order to do that, practices like prayer and meditation would be very beneficial. You know, we have the Two of Cups here. Yeah, that's going to provide you with the internal um, clarity and balance that you have a desire to have at this time. Okay. A little bit of self love. You're going to recognize ways that we got Two of Cups and the Two of Pentacles. Yeah. There's like a definitely two minds, going back and forth in your mind, trying to figure out the hows. Like, okay, if you were to make certain decisions, if you were going to make certain moves, you know, how is that going to work? Do you have what you need to do it? And with that Two of Cups here, that with the sharing card we had earlier, where there's somebody that could be more financially stable and secure that is going to come into your life or has already come into your life to offer some sort of assistance. I'm getting a female, a woman. She could be offering anything. It could be a seed, a blessing of some sort that could help you get on the right track, to be able to maybe purchase something that you may need. She may gift you something, um, or be able to support, provide some sort of emotional support, okay, to help you see where you're able to or you need to practice more self care and self love with whatever resources that you may have. It looks like it's possible that it may not be much. And I did see the Five of Pentacles earlier flip out, and that's okay. You know, because staying in situations for financial stability and security, but being very unhappy, fearful, and all of that is not going to help nobody nowhere. Okay, we got the sun here. So it's possible that, with this being on with the rebirth, if you were looking for some sort of confirmation about what's on the other side for you, it's definitely healing, it's definitely success, and whatever it is that you're here to do, as long as you align with your purpose. Like I stated earlier, you've been potentially having a desire to do that anyway. So getting on track with that and doing your best to stay on track with that via practices like prayer and meditation, getting that guidance that you need from God, from your ancestors that love you, you know, um, from friends and family that support you. You're going to see the light at the end of the tunnel. And you're going to look back and be grateful for your strength. Okay. I'm seeing 22 also. We got the Three of Pentacles here. So, as I stated earlier, the need for a retreat, pardon me. That's how you know it's past my bedtime. It's after midnight. After 12:30 a.m. I'm definitely not doing this late on a regular day, but I'm guessing this message is for somebody somewhere. So I'm just, answering the call. Um, I'm here when the student is ready, the teacher will show up. Okay. So that there could be an energy that is going to support you in honing your creative abilities, like getting stronger and whatever it is that you may do creatively that could potentially help you to generate and grow your income. Um, I'm also getting that as you heal, part of your purpose or your healing journey could consist of somehow sharing your story. So you could be an artist or, creative in that respect. I said earlier, a songwriter, you could write music, or some sort of book or poetry or something like that. But what I'm getting here is that it could be any of that, or you could paint, draw, um, be some sort of like screenwriter. I'm hearing playwright or something like that. Part of me doing something with a pen and pad. I'm definitely hearing healing art that is going to pay you. I'm getting here that if you were to take this serious, you wouldn't be what we consider like a starving artist or something like that. Your support system um, will help you be compensated for your creative abilities. We got the Four Swords here. That's that meditation here. So as you heal, you're going to have moments in time where memories are going to come back. If this was like some sort of narcissist, or, and I don't normally even use that word. That's so crazy. That's how I know this is really for somebody. I guess I've been so tired of hearing that word in the spiritual community. Like, I'm like, every time I hear it, but I can't believe I just said it. It's somebody's story though. Um, Someone that may have tried to take advantage of your light, your healing and nurturing nature. Whoever, used and abused that is going to come back for some supply, is what I'm hearing. They're going to, as you try to detach or as you detach, then this isn't going to be an energy that is going to easily let you go. They're going to try to will you back in, potentially via tears, you know, I'm so sorry, baby. But remember, we saw that snake twice earlier. So it wouldn't be genuine. Of course, I don't like to tell people how to make their decisions and what to do and so forth, but I'm getting that here. So if you wanted to, test the waters and see for yourself, of course, that's your personal business. But the more you keep your mind clear and stay rested as much as possible, you know, um, protect yourself from having contact with that type of energy until you are strong and stable enough to be able to make decisions with a clear mind and not be easily manipulated with that schizophrenia energy there. That's what's being recommended here for sure. This is going to require a great deal of prayer and staying in alignment. Yeah, with the Seven of Cups here, they're going to definitely bring about some confusion and illusions. Look at that. You got another snake there in the cup. So I never looked at the details in this Seven of Cups in this deck, but we have a rose and one, a heart, a snake, a fist, money and diamonds and pearls, a wreath in what looks like a tornado. So these are like lies and illusions and, material things. Someone may be trying to force their hand, you know, if the tears don't work, maybe trying more aggressive tactics to confuse you and distract you and stress you out. So you're definitely going to need to, if you're going to be around others, which I encourage the right people, being around the right people, to support you. And yeah, to support your healing and reminding you of what you truly desire with the Ten of Cups. Because one thing for sure, a lot of times when there's some sort of breakup or, releasing and letting go, the cups here is showing me that this is specifically like love related. At first, I was trying to decide if it was personal or professional. It could be both because sometimes, couples work together, have business together or careers together or so forth. However that goes. Um, with the politics there, it could be like a manager type of situation too, with these pentacles here. It could be anything, different situations and scenarios for different people. But either way, with the self-love and the self-healing, with that type of work, that's going to help you to be able to be in position to love again. I don't necessarily encourage rushing that process. Um, some people it's just like, okay, I want another relationship, or I want to be married, or I want to have a family and all that. That's fine. But you want to make sure that you've done the appropriate amount of healing work before you do that. Otherwise, you're going to attract the same person in a different body because they're going to mirror, you know, certain things. It may not be immediately. It could be something that happens down the line that you see, like, damn, you just like the ex or whatever that happens. That's how that happens when someone doesn't take the time to truly go through their healing process. I'm also getting because I seen a movie. I was watching a movie. It was like a Tubi movie with my mom last weekend, and it was like a Christian based movie, but it was kind of like thriller at the same time. It was interesting. I didn't think I would like it, but it was interesting. And I just thought about that, how the girl was like 7 years in of, you know, celibacy and, just really going through her healing process and just having a real solid relationship with God. She worked at the church with kids and all kind of stuff. And she met a guy that kind of like threw her off or whatever, that kind of like tricked her in so many words and got the panties and just mishandled her. But I was saying like she can't play the victim completely because, you know, she shouldn't have put herself in that situation where she was like in the man's house for dinner and stuff like that for their first date, for example. But the people that she was around, even the lady that she worked for or that, she reported to at church, um, and her best friend were constantly promoting her needing to either get some or get a man or something along those lines. And what I'm getting here is with that type of confusion, making sure that you have the right people around you that are supportive of your healing process is definitely going to be important. That movie just came to mind, like just like that. That's crazy. But trusting in yourself that where you are in your journey, and if you know that, you know, dating and, you know, being with someone before it's too soon isn't for you, trust that, honor that, and don't let people, you know, influence you in ways that are going to set you back, okay, from getting closer to what it is that you truly want, if that's true love or healthy commitment, or just a healthy relationship with self, okay? We got the Six of Swords here. So there's definitely going to be some sort of movement, moving, relocation. And I like to look at, you know, the symbolism and the messages, but also connected to real life. You know, realistically, a lot is going on in the real world where things are harder and more difficult for you to just make moves and, you know, just do things different, like make like drastic changes and so forth. All of the regulations and the things that you need to consider with so much war taking place and with travel and all of that. There's a lot to consider. However, what I'm getting here is the right moves at the right time are definitely going to be beneficial. And that fell on top of trust. So that's where you're going to have to potentially, and comparison. So you're going to have to take some time to do some work in the form of investigating and researching, to figure out, what's going to make the most sense for you and being patient with the process of working towards whatever goals you have that you'll set for yourself. Okay, we have the Five of Pentacles with the World here. Okay, so there could be, I don't know who's going to see this because, according to the Empress Network back office, I have viewers and people who check out my platform internationally, okay? From China to from different countries in Africa and the United States, like all over the place. France, the UK, like, you know, I don't know who I'm talking to. But what I'm getting here is you may find value in traveling or relocating to somewhere that offers you more for your money because as you're healing from if this is a divorce or separation or releasing of a significant other who could have potentially um have been the breadwinner type of situation is what I'm getting here, that you don't want resources or lack of resources to be something that causes you to feel like you need to stay or go back. That's real. Yeah, we got the Six of Wands here. So this is some sort of victory or celebration. You are supported, and that comes out with success. So if you were to make a move, like I said, do your research. You know, don't be afraid to travel across some seas if you're in position to do that, and your soul is calling you somewhere that could be potentially on the other side of the world. Um, and it may be a temporary decision or move, or it could be a permanent one. Who knows? Um, but either way, you will experience some level of success in your healing and restoration, and finding your purpose, aligning with that, um, achieving whatever goals that you set for yourself in alignment with your purpose, because that's another part of your journey. Okay. And you're going to help others in the process, those that you're supposed to help. You may be like, how am I supposed to help somebody if I'm in this position and I barely can help myself? But you'll be surprised in the ways that we're able to help others, with sowing little small seeds. Everything doesn't have to be monetary. Even though you have pentacles here, um, you know, those could be pentacles or income or finances or financial blessings that come to you because you doing the work, you gaining your strength and stability or regaining it and moving confidently with confidence, and others may recognize it, may see it, and that alone, blesses them and encourages them to follow their dreams, to align with their purpose, to pursue success. And I'm hearing spiritual success as well. That's been coming up here for me for the last few days for some reason. I actually wrote it in a PowerPoint that I'm working on presently, literally. We have the Knight of Pentacles. Yeah, so more pentacles. The people that are going to sow into you and bless you. I'm getting here that you may not get like no crazy lump sum or large quantity of money at one time, but you know, with whatever you create or you do, you offer as far as a service, maybe even a product or something that you might invent. I'm even hearing that. Okay. Um, whatever it is that, you do with integrity, that's important too. Um, you're going to be compensated, you're going to be rewarded, you're going to be acknowledged, you're going to be appreciated and respected for it from your tribe, your community, your people, your supporters, your clients, your customers, however that makes sense for you. Get ready to close this out in a minute because it's almost 1 o'clock and way past my bedtime. I need to get up early. I got some things to do in the morning. Tomorrow, actually. We have the Queen of Swords here. So with doing all that praying and meditating, resting, and recuperating your energy, your confidence, your ability to think clearer, think better, um, see the truth and discern in different situations. Your discernment has developed and evolved where you're not going to be easily tricked or mismanaged, by anyone. So as you're growing and healing and getting better, you're going to have new suitors and people that are going to, want your time and so forth. That's when the dating and stuff comes in, if you're into that or if you choose to go that route or whatever. Um, because nobody really wants to be alone, right? I guess. So you're going to be able to recognize from your experiences, from the things that you learn, what's for you and what's not. So you won't find yourself wasting a decade, you know, a year. People value their time differently, So some people ain't going for no toxic, unhealthy, crazy relationship for a decade or multiple. They like, give me 1 week of foolishness and it's a wrap type of business, okay? Um, so either way, you're gonna be shortening, your decision making process when it comes to seeing through, you know, who's who and what's for you and what's not, who's for you and who's not, and standing on your decisions of, you know, not wasting your valuable, precious time or allowing anyone else to. The Queen of Swords could also be in a divorced woman. So with this coming with the tears, the isolation, the narcissist type of energy, this could be definitely someone who's gone through some sort of divorce process or going through. All right, we're gonna use these and close out this message. Yeah, we have the Seven of Wands. That was with the Seven of Cups. So there's definitely been some mental and emotional manipulation that um kept someone distracted for sure. There could have been some sort of like games being played as far as like infidelity type of thing. Um, and that could have caused some confidence issues, I'm hearing. Someone may have learned about that after the fact, I'm hearing, after the separation or breakup potentially. I'm hearing it could have potentially been thrown in their face, like to try to hurt them, like the forcing your hand. I picked up with the Seven of Cups, I heard. That's crazy. But I'm getting someone's learn how to set healthy boundaries, okay? Someone definitely learn how to set healthy boundaries. Yeah, we have the Ace of Cups here, and that's with the Ten of Cups. So through all of this, you know, recognizing where you have or are making the best decisions for yourself and releasing and letting go of the toxicity and just the disrespect and everything else. God is most definitely restoring you and filling your cup and using good people to support that process. We have the Four of Pentacles here. So this is you standing on business, but also being selfish in the most healthiest ways, especially with this Nine of Cups, okay? You being selfish with your healing process, you know. It's not something that happens overnight, and the longer you may have been in a relationship or connection that caused the decline in your confidence, your mental and emotional health and well-being, etc., the more time and energy is going to be needed to restore and recover. So, with that, being selfish with your resources, with your emotional energy, you know, it's okay. You deserve that. You deserve to, give that to yourself. And your ancestors definitely highly encourage it. And they're going to show you, as long as you stay receptive to their messages, their guidance, and their insight, you know, how to do it. All right, let's close out with the oracle message. What oracle I want to use? Let me chakra alignment. Close out with a chakra alignment message. I almost feel like I should have closed out with the angels of abundance, since we had all these pentacles here. Yeah. Relationships, number 12. Okay. So we can look at this from multiple ways. This is you working on your relationship with self, with God, with source, you know, and allowing him to, you know, work on you, work through you. Okay. So that you're able to, I'm hearing, get a boost in vitality with the sacral energy and just feel more alive altogether. Okay. We have psychic development number 27. So this is that awakening where you're able to look back and see the errors of your ways and stand on not being a victim, even though you could have very much been so, but you're not willing to accept that type of title or energy. You're seeing where this has helped you, or this experience has helped you to become more powerful, stronger, wiser, more intuitive, more discerning, more self aware, more practical, more analytical, just an all around better decision maker. Okay. um, where you're able to not only do that for yourself, but potentially support others and being able to do it for themselves as well. Okay. And on the bottom of the deck, we have number one with Mother Earth. Okay. And we also had that here with existence. So we have it twice. So you're definitely aligning with your divine feminine energy. Okay. With the world card here and all of the success that comes with it. So you weren't a fool necessarily while you were being patient. You know, you were traversing on your path, your journey, trusting your journey and gaining the experience, the knowledge that you need so that when you do make this decision to walk away, to let go, that you're going to do that from a place of knowing all that you need to know, where it's going to be easy to not look back in the most unhealthy ways. Sometimes looking back is necessary and useful, you know, but not in ways that you're going to be making decisions to settle and to, you know, go through cycles, continuous cycles that you're very much aware are not in alignment with what God has for you, to sum it up. Okay. I know I said I was done, but let me it's crazy. All that, and we had spiritual awakening. I didn't pick it up with the deck, but that's where we started. I was saying spiritual awakening was the energy. Yo, why I got cards like mixed in places that they don't belong? That's crazy. This was over here with my Isis Oracle, all the way separate from the Mahogany Tarot with the lovers. Very interesting. Did I do that? Somebody mess with my card. Cause that's interesting how that happened. Yeah, you deserve true love, to be honored, to be respected, and to not settle. Yeah, I must have been rushing with the last reading that I did because that was all over the place. But let me get a quick angels up on this message because this reading, I didn't think it was going to be this long. It's supposed to be live, but I don't think it's public. It ain't no way it's public because I ain't getting no views. But it's all good. I probably wasn't supposed to have those distractions. All right, we have partnership. So that's very interesting that the lovers, I saw that from the Mahogany Tarot. And then we have partnership here. Allow healthful, supportive partnerships into your personal life and career, and both parties benefit as a result. You are receiving help from heaven and from a person who brings needed skills and resources. So that's just confirmation. That's definitely just confirmation. And unlimited ideas, I'm looking at that with psychic development. Your mind is one with God's infinite mind. Therefore, you have complete access to unlimited ideas guaranteed to bring blessings. All you need to do is take divinely guided action to allow these ideas to come to fruition. All right, we love that kind of confirmation, don't we? We definitely do. So that is all. This is the bonus reading for the week. I'll be back, God willing, inshallah, on Monday for our what's the date? I'm so tired. The calendar, let's see. For our week of April 13th energy forecast. Okay. Um, it's possible that I may have to record it early and not do it live and just post it. We'll see because I have a lot going on that day. So we'll see how the rest of the weekend goes. But there will definitely, as long as God says, there will be our energy forecast, which can be found under Empress Tools at the Empress Network at empressblack.com. And I also share them on Patreon. So you can join Patreon Or you could also check out our subscriptions that we have available that Patreon is included in. Um, when you go to the Empress Network under Book and Shop, you'll find Earn Loyalty Rewards or Earn Black Books or something like that. That is our page where you can find out everything about our subscriptions, how to earn rewards points via shopping, booking, referrals, all that type of fun stuff. I do have my calendar open for Zoom personal readings, as well as you can purchase personal readings with a consultation that are very in depth. Okay. Um, my availability for behind the chair, I prioritize clients and appointments that are scheduled and pre-booked online. Sometimes people like to try to message me or pop up and show up, but on a day like today, we found out that that doesn't always work. And, these days it's working less. So if you want to guarantee an appointment, it's best to, go ahead and lock that in and schedule it in advance. Um, because if there's no deposit, and it's not already on my calendar, if I have something else planned or I was going to do something else, then I'm going to go ahead and do that more than likely. Okay. So I just wanted to mention that. All right. Well, be blessed, be well. Until next time, peace and love.